Assalamu alaikum all, welcome back to my channel. I pray that you are all in the best of health and iman. If you are new, welcome. My name is Nafisa. I am a Muslimah life coach and I support Muslim women with relationship and mental health issues. So if you're interested in being coached in those areas, you can find me over on my website, which I will leave linked in the description box down below. Over here on YouTube, I make Islamic lifestyle as well as dawah content. So if you're interested in that, then definitely make sure you subscribe. I also have a femininity group on Patreon. So if you're interested in learning the skills of femininity, learning how to become a wife before you actually get the ring, then you definitely want to check out my Patreon for that. All the information is in the description box down below. So women, sisters, today is all about us. It's about looking deep within, because you know what? The truth that a lot of women don't want to hear is that sometimes relationships not working out is not to do with the men. Sometimes we are the ones that need working on. So in this video, I'm talking about some signs that can help you identify if you are the problem in your relationship. I know some of you have already checked out at this point, but if you're still with me, then at least I know that I have the right people watching this video, who are the people who actually want to self-improve, who understand and know that they are not perfect themselves and are willing to take accountability and responsibility for the outcome of the events in their lives. So without further ado, ladies, then let's begin today's video. The first sign that I want to speak on, which indicates how you may be the problem in your relationship, is that every partner that you've had, every man that you've been in this talking phase with, dated, whatever interaction you've had with men in the pursuit of marriage, they've all had the same exact complaint about you. The truth here is, oftentimes, we leave relationships thinking, I keep attracting the same kind of man. They keep being, the same type of person just keeps somehow appearing in my life, or different type of people keep appearing in my life, but it just never seems to work out. And we focus on all the things that were wrong about this wrong man that entered into our lives. And what we don't realize, what we don't take note of, are the things that these men have also complained about when it comes to us. If the men that you've come across in pursuit of marriage have been complaining about the exact same thing, as in they don't know themselves, they've never met one another, they came at different stages of your life, but they are complaining about the exact same thing, sis, you got some work to do. I mean, some serious personal development to do, which we all have. Why? Because nobody on the surface of this earth is perfect. But we can't use that as an excuse to remain where we are, maintain our bad and toxic behaviors, and then expect to have a different outcome. Like, that's literally the meaning of insanity, is doing the same things but expecting a different outcome. So at the end of the day, if these men who've come along in our lives have given us the same feedback, if you're always an angry person, if you're always an aggressive person, if you know, whatever it is that they've complained about you, take account of that. Not because you want to give them the opportunity to say you're the one with all the problems, but because actually we as women who see themselves as high value, see themselves as women who are good women but are open to growing. We want to grow, and you can't grow, you can't develop in your personal development if you have no goals, if you don't know where you're actually trying to grow to. And so sometimes if you don't have any ambitions or any goals, there's nothing about you want to improve, you actually want to take account of what other people say about you that has been consistent. Okay, because if the men have been complaining about the same things, this thing needs to change. This thing that the men keep talking about, they keep complaining about, who've come into your lives at different points, it needs to change so that you can have fulfilling relationships in your future relationships. If you choose not to change, you know there is the one thing that they keep complaining about you, and you're like, I don't care, I'm not changing that. That's fine. You have the right to choice. But then you can't then complain about not having a partner, not being married while you're single, because unfortunately, brace yourself for this, because some of you guys are not going to like this. Some of us women are single because of our own attitudes. Yes, the wrong men may have come along the way, but perhaps there was a man who was good for you, but you wasn't ready to receive that guy because you still had issues and things to work on. And I really actually admire women who can say, and lately I've had a particular sister like this. She literally came for coaching. She said, Nafisa, my age looks like an age where everybody else would be expecting me to get married. But I've sat and I've analyzed myself and I realized, Nafisa, I have this problem, I have that problem, I have that problem. I am not ready to get married. And literally when she said that, it literally gave me chills. Because to see a woman who can be so objective, look at herself as a whole picture and be able to say, I'm not where I need to be in order for me to get married and make a marriage successful. So I actually need some time out. I actually need to work on myself and I'm ready, Nafisa, to do what it takes. And I was like, this is the type of woman that I get excited about working with. The type of woman who's able to admit that, you know what, she's got serious issues she needs to deal with before she engages in this thing called marriage so that it can become successful. So if there is that particular complaint, please, please, please change that behavior. If you don't know how to change the behavior, get help. If it's therapy, get therapy. If it's just counsel from, elders and things like that, whatever it takes for you to improve that behavior, get onto it. And I'm not saying it's going to improve by tomorrow. I'm not saying by tomorrow, next month, you're going to be perfect, but at least you would have grown. You would have become better. You would be practicing how to be a better woman. And that is absolutely vital, okay? So if the men have been complaining about the exact same thing, maybe you're the problem in your relationship and maybe you are the reason why the relationships aren't moving forward the way they're supposed to. The next sign that you may be the problem in your relationship is if you are someone with low self-esteem. And your low self-esteem demonstrates itself in a needy type of style. People are often put off by this neediness that some of us have and display. This idea of, I can't live without you. I need you. You have to be in my life. When you hold a space for someone in your mind where you've made them the prize and you feel your life is unfulfilling without that person, what you do is you give that person so much power. And it also shows that to some extent, you may be harboring some issues that relate to low self-esteem because you don't believe that you can be happy without someone. And it then bleeds into like being codependent. And if that's something I haven't touched upon, I don't think I have. I might be more willing to touch upon it later on. And so you feel this, I have to be with you 24/7. You have to be in my space 24/7 so that I can monitor you, so I can control you, so that I feel attached to you. Because you may be therefore insecurely attached. So if that person isn't tight like this, if they're not calling you a billion times a day, it frustrates you, you become angry, you feel like, how dare this person? Like, we usually talk every 5 minutes and now they don't want to talk every 5 minutes anymore. Without you realizing that being so insecurely attached isn't good for anyone because it may be making that person feel choked. Like they need their own personal space as well. And so when you're so needy and you become so clingy, it just puts people off. People are attracted to the energy of, I want you in my space, but I'm also happy to let you be an individual because I also need some time to be an individual myself. Like people want to be in the company of other people who are that confident. And so when you become super clingy and super needy, it's completely off-putting. So if you think you harbor some of these issues, again, this is a sign you need to do something about it, because it might be actually pulling your partner away from you, because you might actually just be doing the most. You might be doing the most, and it might feel overwhelming to a partner who's used to having a healthy, personal space. And all of a sudden you're coming into their lives and you're over bombarding them with the need for them to always be right in your face, close to you, always doing stuff with you. It's like you have to learn to chill. You have to learn to relax. Otherwise, that energy is just going to push that person away. And this is where sometimes women just feel like, I did everything I'm supposed to, I love them as much as possible. It's like sometimes maybe you overdid the love. And I know you're thinking, how can you overdo love? You can overdo it when you don't have any limits to how much you love. When you have high expectations that person has to then fulfill. If they have to call you 10 times a day for you to feel okay. If they have to always be in your space for you to feel okay. If you have a problem letting them just have time away with friends, times away with family. If you're not there, it's a problem. If you call and they don't pick up this particular second that you called, it's a problem. Then there's a lot of internal work you've got to do. There's a lot of personal development that you've got to do. Because I tell you that clingy behavior, it turns a lot of healthy men off. The only type of man that is maybe attracted to that type of behavior are usually the men who are abusive, because they know that if they can hook you on super strong, super quick, then that's half of their job already done. Whatever they come with afterwards, you're going to put up with it, because by then you're going to be so in love that you're not going to be willing to listen to anybody else who tells you this person isn't good for you. So if you want to end up in healthy relationships, please work on this insecure attachment, work on the clinginess, and learn to give other people space. Learn to stay within your own space and enjoy your own space, enjoy your own company and your own time. Because guys, at the end of the day, we came into this world alone. We're going to leave alone, and our souls will continue a journey alone without other people. So at the end of the day, there needs to be an element, a part of us that is still comfortable with being with ourselves. The last sign that I want to talk about that may suggest that you are the problem in your relationship is if you have a habit of chasing your exes as soon as they leave. If you've been in a relationship with a guy, or you've been talking to that person, they suddenly say, I don't think this is working out, they've moved on, or they want the both of you to move on, and you suddenly get super clingy, you suddenly go ham chasing this guy down, you're the problem. And they may have sensed this insecurity in you a long time ago. Long time ago. You may not have even realized it, that you were coming across insecure, you were coming across desperate. All of that is negative vibes for a healthy man. All of that is negative vibes for a healthy man. If a man says he doesn't want to do it anymore, stop chasing him. On the side, you're trying to look at his Facebook, you're trying to look at the next girl that he's dating. You're like, see, that's what he left me for. You're analyzing her, you're comparing her to you, you're running yourself crazy in your head. Like, again, if you want to attract a healthy type of man, you can't keep doing this behavior of chasing men and hunting men down. Because that chasing, you won't stop doing it when you get into a new relationship. That's where the problem lies. You might think, yeah, but I only do it after we break up. And then if they, they don't come back, then I let it go. And you think that behavior is okay. It's just going to die down. The thing is, it doesn't die down. Because what you keep doing is you keep reinforcing this chasing behavior. If you haven't seen my video on why a woman should not chase a man, you definitely want to see. I'll link it in the description box down below. But what you do is, by continuing to chase this guy in that way, that same need to chase will show up in your relationships. You find yourself being the one doing the most. You find yourself being the one calling. You find yourself being the one spending money. You find yourself being the one to say, oh, so when are we getting married? When are we going to take this serious? You're always going to end up leading. That's the energy that you bring into that relationship. And again, if you're with a healthy man, a healthy masculine man who is involved in heterosexual relationships, he doesn't want a woman who's going to come and lead him, because he understands that that's his role. Like, she can contribute to the outcomes of things, of course, and sometimes she might even take leaderships in some way, but he's not generally going to want a woman who's going to either mother him or make him feel like he's a child and she needs to lead him. Because that chasing behavior is all about targeting, reaching a goal. Those are all the things we can do at work, but we can't bring that into our home with us. And I talk about that in my femininity group over on Patreon. If you're not on there, join us on there if you want to learn more about how to become a wife, a good and healthy feminine wife, inshallah. So please, sisters, if you're used to chasing men, it will turn the healthy masculine men off. And that may show that you are the problem in your relationship, because you have attachment issues once again. See, I'm just realizing how all of this is just kind of marrying into this insecurely attached type of behavior that makes a lot of people demonstrate negative type of behaviors. Even if we think about like insecurity issues and how it comes across with men, it all boils down to, again, insecurities. Right? It all boils down to lack of self-esteem. It all boils down to not being able to trust. So the core issues are always the same. So my advice for this is, notice what it is that you have been doing that hasn't been so great in your relationships. Notice the pattern, if there is a pattern, and be honest with yourself and begin to do something about it. There are so many self-help books. There are so many podcasts you could listen to. There are so many videos you can watch upon it. There are coaches that you can get. There are therapists that you can get. There are people and resources out there that you can use to help yourself. But like I always say in my Patreon group, if you're not willing to do something about your situation, like actually take active account and do something about what is going on in your life, then nothing's going to change. You're going to watch this video, it's going to all sound good, and then you're going to watch the next video, you're going to forget about everything I've ever said. You're not going to put any of this into practice, and guess what? Nothing will change. Nothing will change. Allah does not change the condition of a person until they change what is within themselves. You have to take actions. Sometimes it's not always the men. Sometimes we meet good men, but we can't receive them because we've got issues. We meet good men and then we start questioning, oh, this sounds too good to be true. Oh, no, that can't be. Oh, no. Because we're not used to that. We're used to the toxic environments. We're used to the toxic people. We're used to the toxic situations. So when a good situation shows up, we can't even handle it. So we somehow self-sabotage, without even knowing that that's what we're actually doing. All of this to say, sisters, the men are not always the problems. Sometimes we have the issues. We have to admit it. We have to address it. And in order for us to really become high value, not because we think somehow because we're feminine, that should just automatically make us high value, but because we're really high quality, it's probably a better word for me. Because we want to be high quality women, we actually need to have worked up on ourselves. We actually need to self-improve. And this is one of the ways that we can do so. So sisters, I hope this video has been beneficial. I hope it has been quite thought-provoking, that you can really sit there for a few seconds after this video, a few minutes, and really just think about what has been consistent in your life and what the deep issues are, and get some help, please. Inshallah ta'ala, guys, I will see you in my next video. Have a lovely day. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.